Hey guys, I want to make a video about when we're offended, not letting it destroy our testimony in Jesus Christ. I know that I have a problem with this, and I'll talk about that more in just a minute. But before I do, I really think that offense at other people is it's one of the biggest problems we have today, and it's one of my biggest fears, because I feel like that the love of many will grow cold. And it's basically because everyone's so polarized, whether it be by religion, what you think about Jesus, politics, it doesn't really matter. But everyone's so polarized that I can just see the hatred and seething towards each other. And I shouldn't be surprised by this, because in Matthew 24:10-12, he says this would happen. But it's something that it doesn't have to be. This is something that all we have to do is forgive and remember how much patience the Lord had for us and has for us, and how much mercy He had on us, that even when we were wrong, He still put up with us, and how others also, even other humans too, did that as well. So we need to have that same mindset, is when we know someone's wrong, even when they're dead wrong, and for 100% fact they're wrong, we need to turn the other cheek. We need to put up with it. Now, when it comes to the gospel, we sit there and say, no, this is what the gospel says. We stand firm on the gospel, but everything else we put up with, we bear with. If it's something crazy, calling good evil or evil good, I think we can't put up with that. But all these little petty things, right, we have to not get offended over, whether it be something like pre-trib rapture or post-trib rapture, or King James onlyism. I have a problem with that, because when I know someone's wrong, and I use the King James only as an example, I don't want to be mean to those people. I don't want to destroy my testimony and what Christ has done for petty things, and that's the whole point I wanted to make. I wanted to point out, though, some hypocrisy that we all have. We're all really quick to, when we know someone's wrong and we don't know who they are, to try to point that out. I know for me, it's if I find somebody online and I see them saying something about Jesus that I know is 100% wrong, I'm just off the rails, just like trying to do whatever I can to prove them wrong, make them feel kind of foolish. But if it's somebody in my family that says something that's just completely not true, or just not very smart, right? And I've got stories of this, but I'm not going to get into them. I don't go and try to do that to the person that I love. I kind of very softly try to lead them away from that, because I know it's stupid, and I want them to not, like, there was somebody in my family one time, I don't want to even talk about it, it's not very important, but it was something about rocket science, and I was just like, I knew better than that, and I think that doesn't matter. The point is this, I didn't feel the same way about it because I love this person, and that's the point I want to make, is that this shouldn't be any difference. I should have the same mindset that I had towards this person over here in my family that I do to the stranger, because both of us, everyone is foolish about something, and I should love them just as much as I do my family member. And I hope all that made sense, but I want to go ahead and read 1 Corinthians 6 in the New American Standard Bible really quick. And this kind of goes into what I'm saying, and this is mainly about believers right here. And this was talking about the lawsuits among believers, and about how each believer was bringing and accusing each other, and how we shouldn't do that. So I'm going to go ahead and read verse 7 real quick. Actually then, it is already a defeat for you that you have lawsuits with one another. Why not rather be wronged? Why not rather be defrauded? On the contrary, you yourselves wrong and defraud. You do this even to your brethren. So, and he's actually speaking that you do this to your brethren. He's really implying here we should let everybody defraud and wrong us, because that's not in the saying that we let them spread a false gospel. If somebody's giving a false way to salvation, we have to say no, that's not the way. But on all these other issues, we have to turn the other cheek, because the world is the world believes eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and truthfully that would be just. If somebody takes your eye, you get their eye. But if we're actually honest about that, we would all be walking around crippled and maimed. We would all be walking around dead, because we've all done things to other people unjustly, and we've all deserved to have our eyes and our ears and our noses and everything ripped off. So we don't want to live by that. We want to live by grace, and when we understand it is by grace, then we can sit there and remember that these same people that were so wrong, we were like that in the past, and we can take these things, and that's what Jesus Christ did, and we want to act that way. And truth of the matter is, this is the best way to change someone. No one is changed by arguing with them. I get a little bit mad about, you have like apologists, and some of them are good, and I don't believe apologetic work is I think it's got a lot of benefit, but I don't believe apologetic work helps somebody that's an atheist already. So for example, I'll use an apologist like James White. I don't think his stuff goes and helps the atheist convert to Christianity, but I do think James White's stuff could help, and I don't agree with Calvinism, but he does some other good apologetics works that isn't based in Calvin, that's not very controversial, Anyway, the point is I think his stuff is good for other Christians and to help them reassure their faith. So I believe apologetics is good for each side to like help understand things and have arguments when somebody attacks them and have something they can say that's, like, well, no, this is true right here, if somebody's asking them a question. But I don't believe apologetics and arguing helps the other side bring people. I believe that you only come to Jesus Christ through the Holy Spirit, through an outpouring of the Holy Spirit, through Him allowing you to come, as Jesus Christ said. So what's the point of me saying this? Is the way that we show the Holy Spirit to someone who doesn't have it is by being an example of Christ, by when not acting like the world. When somebody smacks you on the cheek, you turn the other. And that's why I have this verse up right here. This is Matthew 5:39. But I say to you, that ye resist not evil. I don't know why I have this in the King James Version. It doesn't matter. Anyway, but I say to you, that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. So all Jesus is saying here is when somebody does something wrong to you, turn your other cheek. And he also goes on to say, somebody asks for your coat, give it to them and give them more. If they ask for you to go 1 mile, go 2 miles with them or more. So the point is we want to be different from the world, and that's the example. That's the testimony that we can give because we do believe Christ. And I feel so many people in the church, and I use that lightly because some of them I don't believe are in the church, but that claim to be Christians, and even people that are Christians, we don't do this. We don't follow these rules because we get offended, and it really is just because we get offended in the flesh, and we want to combat and fight in the flesh and try to defend our ideas and defend ourselves and defend our viewpoints, when in reality Jesus Christ didn't defend himself. And Paul's saying don't defend yourself. Yeah, we stand on the firmness of the gospel. We don't compromise on the very important issues, but when it comes to defending ourselves, we don't do that. And that's kind of the problem I see. And I want to go over here to Matthew 24:10-12, and I know why I had this one in the King James. I had this in the King James because it has offended, and the other one doesn't. Some of the other versions don't have offended, but I think offended really gets the point across here, and I think it speaks more to today, ironically, even though this is Old English, because everyone's just getting so offended by every little thing. I mean, you can't do anything in life today without offending someone, and it speaks volumes to what's going on, I think, politically and non-politically as well. But I want to go ahead and read this. This is Matthew 24:10-12 in the King James Version. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall arise, and deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall grow cold, or shall wax cold. And iniquity means lawlessness, anything that's, sin, basically. So, yeah, there's that. But, and, I want to make it clear that it's not an easy thing to do. We all have failed in this. This is something, like I said before, I said this earlier, that this is one of my biggest problems. I had somebody earlier accuse me of being pro-abortion for some reason. They disagreed with me, and they were in the wrong. They were slandering somebody, and I said, we don't need to focus on them. We just need to focus on Christ, keep our eyes on Christ, and then He'll take care of the rest. And then they ended up, let's not judge this person, let's keep our eyes on Christ. Well, because I didn't judge them with them, they accused me of being pro-abortion for some reason, and said I probably love killing babies. And I'm just like, what? And I ended up saying something back like, no, I'm very anti-abortion, and pretty much a conservative, but thank you for proving my point, because she was being hateful and, you know, judging people. And maybe I shouldn't have said that. If you don't think I should have said something like that, leave in the comments in below. I had another person on my holiness deception video accuse me and said God hated me, which I expect people to say that, because there's a lot of people, you know. But I said something back, and also go look at that comment, and if you think I was too harsh to that person, leave a comment below. But the point is I understand it's very hard to turn the other cheek, but it's the best way to show the Spirit to somebody that doesn't have it, because if they don't have the Holy Spirit, then how can they know what's right and wrong? But when somebody that doesn't have it sees someone acting like that, it does something. It shows to them, wait a minute, this person's different. And of course, there are the wicked who just love evil, who are going to think that that's, you know, an example of weakness. But we don't have to worry about them. They'll be taken care of in the end. It's the people that are on the fence that, you know, our testimony can, you know, possibly impact their lives. Even if they don't become saved, it still impacts their lives for the better. And that's what we need to do. And I hope that this all made sense. I'm extremely tired, and I've been going through some health issues, so just bear with me. I hadn't made a video. I think in a few weeks now. So yeah, I'll probably end up making a few more right now because I feel a little bit better. But just pray for me and pray for my health, and this stuff that's been going on goes away. All right, guys. God bless and take care.